Hello, Scrappy Peeps. Suzanna here today for the Scrap Room to share with you a double page layout that I created using the October double shot kit. And from that kit, I used Bella Boulevard Wish Big Boy. So that is the layout. And there are 5 photos on this layout. 3 are square, 4x4, and the other 2 are 4x6. And if you look closely, they aren't actually both concisely 4x6 because one of them is printed 4x6 and one of them is actually scaled down in order to have the white borders. So what I did there was I used some painter's tape. Actually, I think that might have been artist tape. Some artist tape to adhere together or to connect together 2 pieces of white 12 by 12 paper, and that is going to be the background for this particular layout. I then cut these borders, one for the left hand edge and one for the right hand edge, and then I'm going to arrange the pictures in such a way that they sort of cascade to create a kind of a, to me it looks sort of like a well, they get tall, short, and then taller again. Like a, not a scooter. I'm at a loss for words here. All right, I'll just leave it. Anyway, so the pictures go tall to short to tall again, and they kind of play off of the width of those borders that are going to bookend either end of the layout there. And I actually wanted that bookend on the left-hand side to be a little bit wider, and I've got plenty of paper, so I am going to go ahead and cut this. I believe that's 4 inches wide, and again, because I wanted it to go behind that photo on the left-hand side there. So I'm going to commit to that, and I'm actually going to lay that down. Then I have the patterned paper that's tone on tone of that navy blue there, and that is going to create the outer border. It's a very dark contrast, and I wanted that contrast because the pictures have a lot of dark in them too, and so you needed that dark element against those words in order to I'm going to say ground the layout there so that there's actually a true bookend to either side of the layout. What I do end up doing off camera is I find that that is a very stark contrast between those words and that navy blue. So off camera, I am going to take a 1/4 inch yellow border from one of the back of the pattern papers and just nestle that in next to that navy blue there. So I am lining up the photos so that they are equally spaced and so that they don't go across the seam of the 2 pages there, and that's what I'm just going to line up the bottom borders. I believe I'm 3/4 of an inch off of the bottom of the page there is how I went with those, and then I just align them. I'm not sure how much I put between each photo, but it was enough so that they were symmetrical and it didn't leave too much of a gap between those outer 2 square pictures and that right hand border there. There is a sketch based off of this layout, and that will be available to you at the end of this video. You can also go over to my personal blog, and I will house it there. I will also house it with the sketches that I put up in my Pinterest board of the sketches that I've created. So in the Scrap Room kits, you get a selection of embellishments, and so I got birthday, the banners of birthday, and I toyed with the idea of putting happy in there, but it just kind of looked like this word was randomly floating, and so I just left it as birthday. It's pretty obvious it's a birthday, and it's pretty obvious that it should say happy birthday, but that happy didn't fit, but happy went somewhere else. In fact, that little blue heart there. So I am toying with all of the embellishments that came with this kit. I want to get them into this layout if at all possible, but I also want them to serve a purpose. I'm just not going to just haphazardly throw them down on the page just because they're there. So I actually do end up using a fair number of the embellishments. I think there's probably only 3 or 4 that I don't use. And I could probably do another single page with the remaining pattern papers and the embellishments that came with this kit. But I really did get a fair number of the embellishments on there. So that tag that does say happy birthday, you're going to see me shuffle that around a fair amount. And I like it where it is. It breaks up those stripes, but it kind of just seems to be this tag that's floating there and doesn't serve a purpose. So it actually ends up getting abandoned. I am going to pop a couple of the elements just to add some dimension to the layout. Those of you who follow me and know my scrapping, you know that I like dimension and I like texture on my pages. And so using the foam dots, it allows me to be able to get that texture that I so often look for. So here on this double page spread, I am using a themed collection to scrapbook the theme. So I'm using birthday paper to scrapbook a birthday, and I don't typically do that. I personally wouldn't buy themed paper. I usually end up using themed paper because it is sent to me for a design team project. So I was wondering, and I'd love to hear your comments in the box down below, do you use themed collections for birthdays? So do you buy birthday paper to scrapbook birthdays? Or do you just use whatever it is that you happen to have? What is your preference? I mean, I don't mind birthday paper at all. I think it's fun. But I feel that it's very, I'm going to say pre-programmed, are the words that I'm looking for. I feel like boy birthdays have to be scrapped blue and girl birthdays have to be scrapped purple or pink. And that's not necessarily the way that things go in our house. And that's okay. But I do like birthday themed collections. They like I said previously, they don't bother me at all. I just feel like, I don't know, I don't actually like themed scrapping. I know it's a birthday and I don't need the paper to tell me that it's a birthday, and I don't need the candles to indicate that it's a birthday. That's not typically what I look for when I look for embellishments. But I do understand that it is the way that many people like to do their scrapping. So here I am with this tag, fighting with it again. And I do end up taking it off. I like that where it is there, but the problem is that bow ends up being underneath the 2 bows, or one of that right-hand side bow of the banner, and they kind of look silly, the bow and the banner bow together. So I end up getting rid of that. So this, my friends, is my second double page layout that I am sharing with you all on my YouTube channel. And I want to thank those of you that responded, and thank those of you who encouraged me to make double page layouts and process videos. I will absolutely, I've got more coming. The idea of trying to cut them down and then have to talk for that amount of time is really daunting. Those of you who don't know me, I really don't talk a whole lot, and I find that I run out of things to say in my videos because I do want what I say to be interesting to you. So what I did just there was I took a Wink of Stella pen, and because it's a birthday, I wanted it to be a little festive and glittery, and so I did go over the letters with my Wink of Stella. It's a very subtle effect. I might go in with some stickles at some point and put the stickles on top of that, but I do like the effect that the Wink of Stella provided. And because it's a banner, you have to have bows. So I have my yellow thread, who I of course cannot remember the name of the company. I have oodles and oodles and oodles of this stuff, baker's twine, and so that is going to finish off the banner there. I'm going to use my liquid adhesive to glue that down, and it does need a little bit of pressure, otherwise it doesn't stay stuck down, and that will be the banner there. So there's a huge white space between birthday and the photos there. My intent is to journal in there, although I kind of like the white space that's in there. And really, what journaling does a birthday need? Yep, we celebrated 15, and I will put 15 in on that balloon. I could talk about the presents and stuff like that, so I may do that, but I think I might just journal on the back too. I am going to put this thin 1/4-inch border strip on the right-hand border there. I like the way that that firm strip kind of grounds that right-hand side of the photo, and it grounds it nicely to that blue on the left-hand side over there. I also feel like I had a bit of a gap between the photo and that horizontal striped paper, and I just needed something to sort of close that off. The green serves that purpose, and then I'm actually going to toy with that label there, which ends up there, and that's where that's going to stay. And I am going to actually end up just leaving that space as it is, and it's not terrible because it's actually balanced by that dark blue, that navy blue on the left hand side there. So I want to put a few more things in there. I know I want to put 15 in, so I've got these puffy stickers from Pink Fresh Studio. If I had them from Bella Boulevard, I would love to use them from Bella Boulevard. I love trying to keep manufacturers together. I do mix things, but this is Bella Boulevard. And so I also wanted to put a few stars in. I felt like there was that white hole above the right-hand side photos, and I kind of wanted to close that in a little bit. So I'm going to put 2 of the stars there. And then because I've used the stars, I want to create a trio of stars to kind of tie everything in together. So you'll see the stars next to Wish and the cupcake, and the star next to, I believe that says Celebrate near the 15. And that's the visual triangle. So what I wanted to show you, somebody asked me in another process video how I store my double page spreads. I use these double page layout store page protectors from We Are Memory Keepers, and what I really like about these is that when you put them in the 3-ring binder, the pages are kissing, as I call them, so they're touching each other and there isn't that big gap in between, and I like that you get that contiguous look of the layout. So here's the sketch. There are some close-ups to follow. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. I'd also love to know whether you are a themed scrapper or not. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Take care.